Welcome in, guys, to another scout report, and today we're on the tight ends, guys. We're a couple of days away from the draft. The draft's on the 26th. I remember. I've got to fucking look at it again, but it is this week. The draft is this week. And again, it's just come so quickly. I remember when I was starting the fucking mock drafts. Every year it comes quick, and I've got through, like I said, most of the people I want to talk about in this draft. If I didn't get through anybody that you wanted me to talk about, apologies. Again, busy with other stuff and just the timing, and I'm not had time to really sit down and watch every single one, which you just can't do that. But I will inform you guys a bit of a channel update around the draft. I will have my review of the draft up, like I've done the last couple of years. I know I didn't do one last year, but I will have a review of the draft I'll get a review of the draft the day after, and then I will do and then a couple of days after that, I'm going to do a draft. I'm going to grade everybody's draft class, every draft class for 2025. So how every team did they get what they wanted out of this draft? How good did they do going out of this draft, and who did they get and stuff like that. But that'll be coming up maybe next week. That'll be coming up next week after the draft is finished. We'll do my review. Then I'll talk about the grades of the draft and where I think people have done well. Anyway, on to this video. So Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State. Now I look at Tyler Warren. Now again, I've only seen Tyler Warren. He's the only kind of tight end I've seen in this draft class so far. I am definitely next couple of days going to watch as many as I can, and hopefully get them up. And then, but again, looking at Tyler Warren, he's got some good potential. I'm going to talk about in a minute, but he's 6'6". He's 6'6", 251 pounds. He's 22 years old, and then the first thing that I heard about him is that in his high school days, he did play as a quarterback. So he was originally at high school, played as a quarterback at high school, and then obviously changed to tight end. And then obviously at high school, as many of us have done it in the past, like we've done other sports and stuff. He had a basketball background. He played for his local high school basketball for a couple of years in high school. So again, he has a background in basketball at high school, and he was started off as a quarterback originally. So the stats for him last year, this season, the 2024 season that he's just had, he had over 1,000 receiving yards as a receiver for tight end, 8 touchdowns. So he had that was one of his best years, because again after that he had like 7 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. But again, 22 years old, he's a good age, especially good age for a tight end. And the games that I watched, games that I seen him on tape were West Virginia, Bowling Green, Kent State, Illinois, Iowa, Illinois, UCLA, UCSU, Ohio State, Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, Maryland, and Oregon. They're all the games that I went off to give my opinions on him. So going to his strengths, the first thing that I liked on his tape was he has an exceptional spiral awareness about him. And he's when he's working against zone coverage, he can he's consistently finding those soft spots in the defense, and he can he can present a massive target against the defense. And he's got a good natural hand ability about him. He has a good catch ratio as well, and he can especially with the frame, like he's 6'6", so again, pretty tall dude at 6'6". But even with his frame, he is still doing those great spiral awareness. He's great with his spine and twisting around those defenses. And again, he's just absolutely a beast against defenses. Especially when he's working against his own coverage. If he was a defender, you wouldn't want to go against him. You would see him if he's healthy enough playing on game day. You're like, yeah, I don't want him fucking be the guy fucking taking him on. He has a dynamic. Another thing that I liked on his tape was he has a dynamic weapon. And when he catches the ball, he can gallop. He has a galloping, good athleticism out of, like I said, with the whole basketball background. He has that gallop about him, and he can go past defenses in open field and do long strides to the end zone. And again, he can maintain his balance as well, so he's not, the one like losing balance, losing his control. And again, especially when they're contacting, like that is, again, he has a great catch weapon when he's receiving the ball. He gallops down the field past the defense in an open field, and that's it, man. He's just, going up and eating up some defenses. And then, especially when I was talking about his quarterback, I know we talked about a few minutes ago, talking about his quarterback days at college. Not college, apologies. At high school. So at high school, like I said, he was a quarterback, and his IQ can show. So you're really seeing his footballing IQ here when he's diagnosing, like he can diagnose pre-snaps from the defense and understand how to like manipulate the defense, and then obviously that comes from him having a bit of time as a quarterback. And he can leverage his space, get in the end zone, getting some tight places. Kind of reminds me a bit of like Sam Laporta for he plays for the Lions. He's kind of in that mold as well. He didn't play as quarterback, but he was like, he can really get at some defenses as well in that way as well. Like he can leverage his way and kind of manipulate defenses. And then he has a dangerous run that when he accelerates, he can stack up defenders and vertically, and he can create separation, and he can steam up and track the ball over the defense's shoulder. And then you see him in the red zone, especially when he's in the red zone. That is the one place I talked about earlier. Like he's the absolute worst. Like if you want to, not worst to like he's bad, but worst for like a defense. You don't want to cover him on the defense and give away penalties on the red zone. But he can definitely up against smaller if he's up against a smaller defense, he would just eat them alive, especially when he's 6'6". His body control. He has strong hand movements to keep the ball, and he's winning his 50-50 battles. And then a couple more I saw in his strengths was what I really liked. He's a creative he's a great creative offensive weapon that you can have in any kind of scheme that you can play, really. He's really one of the guys that, again, your wide receiver aren't finding shit, and you just give it to him, and then you find something to do with it. Again, he's reliable in traffic, and he can work down the middle of the field as well. And then he's not losing his focus or his concentration in the middle of the field. He's maintaining some big hits even in the middle of the field, but again, still maintaining his focus, and especially on third down, like he's fantastic on third down. When he's again handling, going through multiple defenses, multiple schemes in the defense, absolutely just awesome at that. And then another thing that I liked on his tape was I love his leadership. Well, I know that the quarterback, I know that is the leader of the team offensively, but I like how he's getting his guys in line and stuff like that. I really like that about him. A couple of the weaknesses that I seen on his tape was he's still developing as a inline blocker. So that's kind of one thing that, again, you can work on whoever he goes to scheme-wise offensively. Needs to improve on his hand placement as well. So sometimes his hand placement isn't the best, and his especially when he's good against smaller defenses at 6'6", but when he's up against more bigger and more beefier tight end, like defensive ends, that's where he's going to really struggle, in my opinion, with his hand placement and his leverage. Because again, he's still trying to figure his way into being an inline blocker as well. So that's kind of something you can coach that as well. So it's like, again, some kind of growing pains there, but you can coach that. You can get sometimes with his play calls that he was making in Penn State. He can redirect too early when he doesn't have to. That's kind of one thing that frustrated me. Like, you're doing this play and you don't have to redirect. Like, go that way, because you was doing it. It was working that way. You don't have to redirect so soon. You know what I mean? He's doing that too early with the routes, and then sometimes his long frame would work against him. Obviously, going up against some bigger defenses, but again, he's one thing he's got to cut out of his game is his redirection and his reading of the game has got to, especially when he's redirecting his routes and doesn't feel like he wants to go that way. That's something you have to. Sometimes again, him when he's on the running game kind of lacks as well. He was putting up only 4 touchdowns. I know it's not about stats, but like 4 touchdowns. He was putting 4 rushing touchdowns in Penn State. Again, he's relying more on that, like I said, his athleticism and his technique to create separation against man coverage over than like sometimes again run the ball more. He was doing that on tape, but he was only putting up, like, again, you're looking at his in the entire college, he was putting up like 4 touchdowns, and then a couple more here because again, a couple more he will sometimes he to some games that would where he would consistently coast through routes when he's not really the target for the play up, like when the quarterback's trying to find some play and he goes for like a running back or a wide receiver, and he's like, yeah, I don't care about. Sometimes his level will dip when he's not on the ball, or when the ball isn't coming his way. Like, he doesn't feel like, I don't care about it. So his attitude kind of changes when he's not the prime target and he's not focused from the quarterback. And then last kind of weakness that I found here, his base of his strength, his base strength at the point of attack, he kind of needs more development. He kind of gets overwhelmed over, like I said before, bigger power rushers, and especially gets kind of overwhelmed in the pass protection side of his game. So again, you're looking at his point of attack. His pass protection needs some work. So on a bit of summary here to sum him up, like, I think he's probably best. Now, again, he's definitely my first round pick, but I'm looking at him right now. He would probably be better like in a Sean McVay system. I think he would get the best out of him. And if he was under, like, if he just sat under the learning tree of Sean McVay for a year, I think you could get the best out of him. But overall, he's gonna be, so far he's what